Hey, good morning. So I'm going to go into Clio. I think I'm getting sick. And I'm going to, wait. Pull up an email that I sent you to try to see if, are the invoices in there? Let's see. Okay. So, Greenpoint Hospitality. So I'm in Clio. I'm pulling up one of the emails. It says Greenpoint Hospitality on the top here. Going in Clio. Greenpoint Hospitality. I don't know which one. So it says the box house. So Greenpoint. I don't know. So I don't know if any of those are the box house. So I'm gonna go by 77 Box Street. There we go. It's actually none of those. It says 77 Box Street. So make sure that you are getting the right account because it's likely by the address. You can see how many times I tried. It's not by the name because the name Greenpoint Hospitality Management could have 10 different addresses with bars that required liquor licenses. So this is in care of Box House. Box House didn't come up. 77 Box Street is apparently labeled as Brooklyn Lantern. Anyway, just so you could see that it's 77 Box Street. Now, you don't see any bills, right, under. So I'm in the dashboard. I look at bills. Then I look at activities. I just want to see, is that $1,200 expense in there or whatever? It's not. And all this time is from like 2017. So what you're going to do is you don't have January 13th time in there. So you're going to take this. So now you found Box Street. So I'm going to go to activities. What do you mean flat fee? All right, well, something else is in there unrelated to you. So I'm gonna add new time entry right here. Then I'm gonna do copy this. Your notes would have all this, but just so you could see me doing it, you know, so you could know where in your notes it is. Then I'm gonna do 1. Description I'm pasting here. The matter is 77 Box Street. The date is not today. The date is the date on the invoice, which is January 13th. And the amount is the rate, so it's $1,200, it says. So that's the one line. So I'm gonna save that entry. Go back to my invoice. So all these disbursements are gonna go here under new expense right here to the top right. So start typing FedEx. I think that was one of the ones on there. I'm going to refer back to the invoice. It says $66. So I'm going to do FedEx, $66. Save and create another. Wait, yeah. Oh, it says put the matter. So 77 Box Street. Create another expense. It says bond, $75. So I'm going to enter bond here. Box Street, 77 Box Street. Save. The last expense says photocopies. So I'm going to start typing photocopies. And that's gonna be $2.40. Photocopies at the top. Wait, why doesn't the amount show? $2.40. And I'm gonna save this. Now I'm gonna go under, oh no, all these expenses are wrong because I didn't change the date. So I'm gonna go back to all activities and I'm gonna enter today's date because it defaulted to today's date. And I'm gonna change all my expenses to January 13th. Make sure that when you're entering this activity, as you just saw me do, I made a mistake and I put if defaulted to today's date. Change it to the date on the invoice because when you prepare your invoice, your entries aren't going to come up on the invoice if you don't date it that date. You're going to be like, when you pull up an invoice, it's going to say no invoices because you're going to use the date on the invoice and your entries will have defaulted to today's date. So I'm going back and I'm changing my invoices. So on each of these disbursements, photocopies, I put the amount on total amount. Then I put the matter name. Then I put the date on the invoice that they gave you. And then save. Now I'm going to activities. So I'm gonna go back to 77 Box Street. And I'm gonna look at the activities. I'm gonna make sure that all my entries are in there that I want for January 13th. This is just to make sure. I want to see only January 13th. So you have January 13th, you have $1,200 professional services, and then you have all these disbursements. Your invoice in Clio should turn out to that amount. So you see that amount there, and now you're ready to generate the invoice. You have your professional services paragraph, and then you have your 3 expenses that is listed there. So now you're gonna go to left side billing. New bill. Let it load for a few seconds. Filter to the right here. Filter. Find the matter. Once again, 77 Box. The date range is important, so you'll enter that. January 13th only. January 13th through January 13th. Make sure your amount here totals the same on the invoice as here. And it does. So now after that, you click this here in the bottom. After you click the case and the number, you go to generate here at the top. Generate. I'm just looking to see what this is. And the issue date, let's go back to January 13th here. Hit generate. See your invoice, see if it looks exactly as that other sheet, because that's all we want to do. So when it gets to this part, you're going to hit the drop down right here. And then you're going to just view, just to make sure that the invoice is how you want it. Does it say that $1,200? And does it have those expenses? Does it have the correct date? Does it have the correct company? It says 77 Box Street. I just want to see something. It says Simon Whitley here. Simon Whitley. And that's what it says here. Because we are, in fact, sending it to somebody, and that has to be correct. And if it's not, you can ask me. So it's draft now. So now you're good with it, right? You viewed it. Now up here on the top right, there's other ways to do it, but this is the way that you can follow, and then you'll keep practicing. More actions, because you're going to approve it. Approve, approve. Now it's in there. Approve, approve. What did I say on the email? I said manual invoices, which I sent to the client. So all we're doing is entering it in Clio because they sent this manual nonsense. And when I started working here, I said, you can't do this, because if you do this outside by yourself, when I go to account for it, you're sending an invoice to a client and I don't know what, like, where is the accounting? You're not even telling the accountant that you sent it. So all we're doing is taking this manual invoice they sent and putting it in Clio, so that when these people pay, that I could have an accounting record of them having sent this and what this amount is received for. So that's it. After this, you're done. Move on to the next one. The next one is this one. And you start the process over again. Get it in Clio, save, move on to the next one.